Okay, here we are again. Everybody, welcome to Propel Virtual Garage. I'm your host, Russ Titonia from Siesta Key, Florida, the North American Service Center for Propel. Tonight we're going to do an important video. We're going to talk about changing belts real quick. It's an easy job. It's something that you'll do often in the life of the board. Probably the most common maintenance. But three things I want to touch on before we actually get into it. And number one, you always want to inspect your belts. I usually take a look at them anytime before I ride, give the wheel a rotation, make sure you don't see any cracks, frays, any obvious deformities. I can't have the peace of mind knowing that a belt is $4 or $5 to ride on a belt that I don't feel comfortable with. So inspection is a big thing. Number two is cleaning. When I'm cleaning them, I like to use an air hose first and rotate the tire slowly so I blow out any debris that may be in between the teeth of the gear and the teeth of the belt. And then if need be, I'll give a light water rinse, pointing the hose away from the battery box. The third thing I want to talk about is the size. We use the size 405 5M, okay? A pretty common size. You can find them online. You can find them in our parts store. But I just wanted to put that out there and get that out front. So without any further ado, let's not take up any more of your time and let's get right into learning how to change a belt. Okay, changing a belt on the Endeavor Pro and the Endeavor S. This is kind of odd because changing the belts on a belt drive is the most common maintenance that you have to do on a belt drive. But it's actually probably going to be our shortest video we have because it's probably the easiest thing to do on this board. Real simple, a lot like the last tutorial how to change a tube in a tire, it's even simpler. Ready? Let's get into it. We need two tools, the same ones as before, 3mm and a 17mm, 3mm hex, 17mm socket. One thing I want to point out is when you're using hex heads, especially small ones, you always tend to use the same 2 or 3 out of your little pack. These get worn. That's another way to strip heads. Replace these often, and a good sharp tool makes a big difference. Okay, let's get to it. Take the wheel off. Always like to put my nuts and screws and parts and bolts someplace specific. I used to use a cup or a jar. I have this nice little magnetic tray. I threw a little Propel sticker in the middle there, kind of cool. But always have a place to put your small hardware so you don't lose any. Okay, just like we removed a belt in the tube tutorial, say that a couple times fast, we're going to push in with our thumb while pulling out with our fingers while rotating the wheel forward. This disengages the belt from the belt drive. Forward, pull, forward and pull, forward and pull, and it's off, okay? So now with the wheel off, we do the actual changing of the belt. First thing we do is we take our 3mm, we remove the belt guard. Now when putting this back on, there's no reason to wrench down on these. Just get them snug. Okay, once that's off, I'm going to leave those 2 nuts right in there. Normally I would put them in my parts tray. But this is going right back on in 2 seconds because, again, this is just that easy. Take your old belt, pull it off, grab a new belt, go over the top pulley, under the tensioner, leave that there. Take your belt guard, put it back on again, line that up with your holes, and let the 3mm do its job. Again, not over tightening them, just getting them snug. Okay, now we go back on with the wheel. Slide it on until that inside gear hits the belt. Okay, and once it is pushed all the way in against the shaft, then you want to raise the belt, bring it up near the tensioner, and start to feed it onto the gear while turning forward and putting pressure inward. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 turns for the belt to feed on. As long as you keep at it, it'll feed itself on very easily. And you just keep turning. See, once it's on, you just turn it and push. Oops, and turn it and push. Move my whole bench. And it lines itself right on. There you go. Then we just put the lug nut on. And that, my friends, is it. Now change the belt on the Endeavor S or the Endeavor Pro. Super simple. Okay, so that wrapped up changing the belt on an Endeavor Pro or an Endeavor S. It's super simple. 2 tools, 5 minutes. Our next couple videos are going to be pairing the remote and remote functions. So stay tuned for those coming out next. And once again, thanks for watching. We hope these helped. Ride safe, ride hard, ride Propel.